Hello and welcome to the agenda. I am Ajay Kaul. Today we will discuss the death of Baloch activist Karima Baloch in Canada and suspected hand of Pakistan's ISI. Prominent woman Baloch leader Karima Baloch has been found dead in Toronto in Canada, hours after her mysterious disappearance there. Although Toronto police has said no foul play is suspected, Baloch people are suspecting that she was assassinated by Pakistan's notorious intelligence agency ISI. So did ISI carry out the assassination and make it look like simple death? We will discuss this in the agenda today. To give us a proper perspective, we are joined by a prominent Baloch leader, Dr. Naseem Baloch from Geneva. We also have with us Mr. Jitendra Kumar Oja, who is an expert on geostrategic affairs. But before we begin our conversation, let's have a look at this small report.
Prominent women Baloch leader Karima Baloch, who was vocal in flagging Pakistani's atrocities being meted out to people in Balochistan, has been found dead in Toronto in Canada. Her dead body was found hours after her mysterious disappearance in Toronto, where she had sought refuge to escape the wrath of Pakistan's notorious intelligence agency ISI. Toronto police has said there seems to be no foul play involved, but Baloch people suspect that she was assassinated by ISI to silence her. Karima, the former chairperson of Baloch students organization Azad, was in the forefront in exposing Pakistan at global forum by highlighting the atrocities the Pakistani authorities are committing on Baloch people. She had been particularly highlighting the malice of enforced disappearances in Balochistan carried out the Pakistani intelligence agencies. According to international human rights bodies and Baloch activists, thousands of Baloch people are abducted by the Pakistani security and intelligence agencies, and most of them never return. A few return as dead bodies, that too in mutilated conditions. Baloch people have been struggling for freedom from Pakistani occupation for over 7 decades. They have been looking at India for help in this regard. In fact, Karima in 2016 had issued a video appeal to Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the occasion of Raksha Bandhan for help. Addressing Modi directly, she had said the sister from Balochistan was seeking help on Raksha Bandhan as thousands of Baloch brothers are missing and their families are endlessly waiting for them. In the video, she has requested India to be just the voice of Baloch people who would fight for their right themselves. But 4 years later, she is no more. Bureau Report.
Now let's welcome our guest, Dr. Naseem Baloch from Geneva and Mr. Oja from Delhi. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much.
I'll begin by asking Dr. Naseem Baloch about this incident of Karima Baloch being found dead after her mysterious disappearance. What do you say on that?
As you know, this is not the first case of its type. Earlier, there are so many cases of Pakistanis, but there is another case of a Baloch journalist who went missing in this year in the month of March. Then his body was recovered in a river in Sweden. And Karima is the second case in the same year. She went missing for 1 day, and the other day her dead body was found in the same way, which was in the case of Sajid Hussain, whose dead body was found in a river in Sweden.
Sajid Hussain, you are referring to the Baloch journalist who was found dead in Sweden in March, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes, so we can see it is like a series, because the type of the attacks, the type of the murders, are same. First, missing, then being found in a river. Okay.
But Toronto police says it was there is nothing suspicious about it. So do you think it is natural death, normal death, or she was killed?
No, obviously it is not a natural death because Karima, a person like Karima, she's a brave person. She was fighting for 2 decades for the Baloch cause. She has faced so many threats. Her 2 uncles were killed. Her cousin was killed. Her house was raided and bombarded many times. But she was not afraid. She was not committing such a act to harm herself. But now, how it could be a case of normal death, physical death, where she was living in a security. She was feeling security, but in the previous last month, you can maybe you have heard a speech from her. She was saying she had threats, and she was also pointing out to the Pakistani politicians and Pakistani agencies that they are there in Canada. They are influencing the administrative system of Canada. So she was warning the Canadian government and all the institutions of the world. Then it is obvious that she has been targeted.
So clearly that's a failure on the part of Canadian authorities. I will ask Mr. Oja is there to help us. Mr. Oja, as you heard Dr. Baloch, he is saying that it's clearly that there is some mischief. She was killed. It is not natural death. So what do you say on that?
First of all, before I answer to question of Mr. Baloch, Dr. Baloch, Ajayji, I'm a geopolitical and security expert, not geostrategist. Geostrategy is a little different.
Okay.
But getting down to on this occasion, Dr. Baloch's observations, I 100% agree with him, because a young person, a young lady who is determined to fight, who is determined to take on might of, I would say, criminalized state of Pakistan, she is not likely to give up so easily. So I find it very difficult to believe that she would have taken her life on her own. Regarding efficiency of these Western police agencies, I have my own doubts. As a consular officer, I had my own experiences of dealing with them. You know, those societies are very trust-centric societies, and the level of crime is not very high. So normal crime they can certainly manage, they can certainly handle, but if there's a sophisticated crime by a very energized and very motivated group, very professional group, I doubt that, police agencies in these countries are in a position to handle those kinds of crime very effectively. And secondly, a South Asian or a Pakistani or even an Indian may matter a little bit if there's local pressure, may not be very high on their priority. The police would be very keen to pass it off that as this thing. I am not saying that it was a murder, but what I am saying that strong possibilities exist that which suggest that the apprehension of Dr. Baloch is very right, that she could have been eliminated. But because for Pakistan there's a lot at stake. And I've always maintained in your program that Pakistanis are able to run this kind of terror factory because they have a worldwide organized crime network. And once you have this worldwide organized crime network, you don't have to invest much. There are sophisticated criminal gangs. You train them a little bit. Because of your drug and counterfeiting and all these businesses. I'm not saying it. Western countries have admitted that Pakistanis have this kind of worldwide network. So with this kind of covert power, you can do things. You can bypass, the police agencies of even the most advanced countries. If, a simple case like you see this David Headley and that Rana in US, they could go undetected from American intelligence network for so long. And there would be many who are still going undetected. So I don't think, that this kind of possibility can be ruled out, because she was a young person, very determined person. She was very committed to her cause. So someone like her taking her own life, I don't think this is possible. It doesn't, come as natural, because people who are suicidogenic are those who are helpless, who are depressed, who don't have anybody around. And this kind of vibrant group, which Dr. Naseem himself is a part of it, where people are very cohesive, they are together. I don't think that she would be psychologically depressed. There was no reason for her to be psychologically depressed, and a normal person is not going to take one's own life.
Right.
So I think there's a very, very sinister design could be there. Strong possibility is there, and simply because, Toronto is a developed place does not mean that police would be very active. For them, these kind of crimes will be very low on priority. I think there has to be some kind of pushing. There has to be more effort to find it out. And of course, I would say, going beyond this, we have to, rather all civilized countries in this part of the world and beyond, we have to go and dismantle this organized crime network that Pakistan has been running to oppress people, civil people within Pakistan, whatever small number of those people are, as well as minorities, including Baluchis and others also. Not only, you can say, Shias, Hindus, Ahmadiyyas, all these people are being intimidated and coerced. And the moment they open their mouth, they are chased and targeted, and this is the destiny they are going to meet.
Mr. Oja, I'll come back to you on the this question. Mr. Baloch, Dr. Baloch, as Mr. Oja pointed out that Pakistani gangs are all over the world, and they are operating against those who are kind of dissidents. They call them dissidents. So do you think, Pakistan ISI has that much of penetration in Canada, and earlier we saw in Sweden, and Sweden also that case was hushed up rather. It was just dismissed as a normal death. So what do you say on that?
Yes, and now we can add China to it also, because after joining hands with China and Chinese projects in the region, Pakistan has become more powerful and more courageous, because now China is behind her also. And China is also supporting them militarily and the equipment, very sophisticated equipment, which, for example, they can target anyone without giving any signs there. Just we saw last month in Tehran, a scientist was killed, but there was no any signs were there. Lastly, the word we recognized it, and the word also admitted it that he was killed by a weapon that we cannot see it. That is like a drone. But now China can support Pakistan with such type of weapons also. And when we can also give an example of General Pervez Musharraf's video, which is viral on social media,
right,
who is blatantly, openly saying to the journalists that we can do it. We can target the persons who are our opponents.
So
it is.
So you firmly believe that it was ISI which carried out this killing, Dr. Baloch?
Yes.
But
for me, because for me it is like this. For me, because we are suffering since a long time. It is not 1-2 years. It is 7 decades now. We have experienced so much difficulties, so much problems by the hands of ISI and other intelligence agencies of Pakistan.
Yeah, that was at home, but now that was at home. Now they are reaching out to you at even foreign shores. So is there a dangerous now trend?
Yes, it is a very dangerous trend. They are doing this abroad because what they have done in Balochistan, or what they are doing in Balochistan, they have suppressed, they have taken some people in a position that one cannot say a word openly. For example, now we see ourselves in a safe country, in a safe environment, So we are trying to raise the voice of the people who are living there in Balochistan. So they say they think that the voice is going louder and louder every day by the Baloch people, by the Baloch activists who are living abroad in Europe and Canada and other countries. Then they are going to start. They are going to intensify it. It is very dangerous. It is dangerous for not only for the Baloch people. There are also other nations who are who are struggling for their rights, for their independence, for their freedom from Pakistan. They are also under threat now after such acts with us.
But Dr. Baloch, yeah, please continue. Yeah.
Yes, sir. I can say Pakistan has so many tricks. They can hide themselves. They can hide the hands of the state by their practices. As our experts said here, there are so many elements who can do for them.
Right.
So Musharraf also said that our name will not come.
So I'm
Our
coming to
name
that.
will
I am
not be
coming to.
exposed.
I am coming to that only. Now there is a narrative in Pakistan. That false narrative is being spread that it was the handiwork of Indian intelligence agencies. How do you believe that?
They can blame. They can blame Indian agencies. They can blame ourselves. They can other day they can say that I myself have murdered one of my friends. They can say, but the world should not believe in it. And obviously I do not believe in it. It is a
Okay.
lie.
Nobody believes that. Mr. Oja, I want to ask you the same question. The narrative is being spread in Pakistan that it was carried out. I mean, she was maybe killed by Indian intelligence agencies. What do you say on that?
This is typical way Pakistan has been peddling lies one after another. Unfortunately, there are elements within India also who can support this kind of lie. But there has to be clearly a motive, and then secondly, there has to be a capacity. So Indian agencies, I don't think they have any motive as such against Karima Baloch, if at all.
No, I'll tell you, Mr. Oja. The motive they are saying is, though at the pro-Pakistani handlers, they say that she was an Indian agent, raw agent, and now raw is eliminating their presence. I mean their asset.
This is a ridiculous thing, because of their strict and limited mind, they can talk this kind of nonsense. Otherwise, I have no idea. I have no idea on this. Normally, I would like to comment on something like this, except that, Pakistanis have a long habit of peddling all kinds of lies, and they do it forcefully, hoping that some people would fall for it.
Correct.
I said, two things are there. One is motive, second is capacity. ISI doesn't have to dispatch a team like, from Pakistan to kill someone. Because what they've done to organized crime, all kinds of street gang crimes, to extortion, to counterfeiting, all over the world, leave aside Asia. Even Britain, the police officers have been, telling me, sometimes retired police officers or other friends, how these people have been operating. So they have to just hire some gang over there. They would already be in touch and use those gangs, use even local criminal elements, to act so deceptively that, it will be difficult for police agencies. And sometimes police agencies would also not like to admit, a serious crime has happened within their own territory. They would also like to deny. I know, as long as it is possible, if it's too sophisticated, because you have to expect one thing, that police over there is also very busy. They have their own priorities. So, this is a low priority area for them. They would not like to invest their energies over there. What I'm saying is, I'm saying it on the basis of not any book or research. I have interacted with police officers in Western countries extensively, both while working and otherwise also as part of my research and other things. And on that basis, I can very well say that Pakistan has managed to develop a very strong network even in Canada. And this is a very clandestine kind of network. And it's all because, because this, we used to hear this thing, chor chor mausere bhai. So all kind of these street criminals or drug traffickers at smaller levels, these drug peddlers, you will find, behind this thing there is a Pakistani connection somewhere.
Right.
And once they are out of Pakistan, this Pakistani establishment or whatever you can say, ISI, they manage to tap onto that, and that's why they have managed to develop a strong cloud. I don't think, any agency would like to eliminate its own associates in any manner, because this is going to bring down your own credibility. So
Right.
this is absolutely bizarre to say that, I don't know whether they would be having anything. They have this imagination that Balochis, anyone who's fighting against Pakistani military, they dub them that has to be an Indian agent or something like that.
Correct.
So I don't think that there's any
So-
substance in this. It's part of old trick of Pakistan.
Yeah. So Dr. Baloch, as you heard Mr. Oja, that they have a syndicate and which is working in Canada also. So given that situation, and maybe it is a low priority for the Canada police or authorities. So given this situation, how hopeful are you that the truth will be unveiled by the Canadian police or Canadian authorities?
Yes, what we can do, we can demand for transparent investigation, a thorough investigation, a deep investigation, and we can demand on the daily basis. Today, tomorrow, after 1 year, even they do not find a sign of involvement of the murder, we respect their.
Where will you demand?
But
Where will you demand? In Canada or UNHRC, etc.? Where?
all the forums,
Okay.
all the forums. If Canadian police.
So maybe you can remind Canadian PM. He was very vocal on the farmers' protest in India recently about the rights of people. So maybe you can remind him about rights of Baloch people also who take refuge in Canada. What do you say on that?
Yes. We have the plans. We are writing letters. We are contacting them. We have the sources to contact them. We do that. We are going to do that. Obviously, we will not be silent on such cases.
Okay, Mr. Oja, before we conclude, I want to ask you about this, about PM Turdev, who was recently vocal on the farmers' protest and said that he stands by the rights of everyone and all that. So, in that situation, do you think he should take this is death or maybe killing of somebody, some Baloch activist? So, do you think he should take it?
I think it is not simply killing, it's a conspiracy, and through a conspiracy somebody has been killed. And it looks like that Green Canada also, Canadian PM or Canadian agencies are not in control of things. And the subversive elements, they have become so powerful that they can eliminate anyone who speaks against them. So it's a very dangerous situation. Regarding, whatever statements he made on farmers issue, I think it was highly outlandish and the most unexpected from any mature state person. So he also seems to have come under pressure of these subversive forces. So this is extremely worrying that Canada was so far considered, a heaven, a peaceful country, more civilized country, but I don't know in which direction things are going. Looks like agencies in that country are not in control of things. I would rather advise Mr. Baloch to hire or rather engage or request some top detective. Let that person come out with all this investigation, piece evidences together, and armed with this evidence, he should confront Canadian police and Canadian courts and other bodies, because I doubt that the kind of professionalism which is needed to get to facts in this matter would be available even with Toronto police. So I think he should seriously consider, getting some experts, and maybe if there is some way we can provide someone from Indian police, some of the top investigators who have retired. We should provide the services of such investigator to him, and we should get down to this thing. And even Canadian Prime Minister should be told that, look, you are running a country, and you should be first loyal to your own country, and you should stop meddling into this kind of thing, by coming under pressure of this drug and crime network and things like this. The kind of liquid cash these networks, Pakistani coordinated networks they have, they can play havoc with anyone.
Right.
They don't have to sabotage the whole country. They just have to sabotage few people. So in these circumstances, I would say that the statement of Prime Minister Trudeau and this incident is very, very worrying for security of people in Canada, especially of this region. Yeah,
Right.
because they earlier had this option, to go to that country and feel that they're safe. But this kind of incident suggests that they are not safe even over there.
Right. So before I conclude, Dr. Baloch, I want to ask you, as Mr. Oja pointed out, that you are not safe even in Canada, which is supposed to be a very peaceful country. So you are not safe even there. What do you do? I mean, in fact, I am seeing a list prepared by somebody in that Tariq Fatah, Taha Siddiqui, Gul Bukhari. There is some more people are in the list who can be targeted. So you are not safe even in a place like Canada. What do you say on that? Before we conclude here.
Yes, there is a Urdu poetry, मर के भी चैन न पाया तो किधर जाएंगे. If we are not safe here to do our job, to hold our activities, then where should we go? Obviously, we sit here, we compete these challenges, and we continue raising voice for our freedom of Balochistan, and we obviously we take precautions. We take precautions by after some days we want to arrange or organize our bodies to discuss on the issue and what to do in future. We make our plans and accordingly we continue our
Right.
job here.
You will need to take precaution and be careful because I think they are on your track. They are tracking you.
I'll say one thing,
Yeah.
Ajay ji, before we conclude.
Yeah.
As the largest democracy, we have to take initiative to crack down on organized crime, both within India, in this region, and beyond that.
Yeah, I think India should do more than what it is doing now. I think we are not doing anything right now. But thank you both of you for participating in this debate today. Thank you. This is all in the agenda today. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with another important topic tomorrow. Till then, goodbye.